was you, what would you do if you didn't have a home? Oh yeah. Didn't have a kitchen. Imagine if you was homeless. Didn't have a job, no car, no friends. Imagine if you was homeless.
Homelessness to me is just like, I don't know, you could have a job one day, the next day you get fired. And it's the same thing with homelessness. You have a house one day, the next day you don't. I'm 16 and I've been homeless for a year. And so far, personally, people are like homeless is really bad. And when they think of it, they think of a bum. But for me, I mean, like, I dress normal. I don't dress like a bum. They sometimes provide free clothes. They're not the best clothes, and sometimes I don't like them, but I mean, like, you know, they're helpful at times. Sometimes I do get embarrassed, you know, being homeless, but no one really knows. Like, none of my friends know. Most of my family doesn't know.
On 1 January night, 47% of those found in the shelter were part of family units.
Off and on, I've been on the streets for over 10 years. The most challenging point was maybe just to sometimes develop self-worth in yourself. Just to have that motivation to try to get out of it, to try to keep going on. When you feel like you're stuck, you're pulled down, you don't have the opportunity sometimes to get clean clothes on, you're smelly, you can't groom yourself, you're ragged. People look at you in a certain way. It's just easy to get down in that rut and just living with no hope. Been in different little institutions or places where I'm thinking, well, if they told me to get out of here today or tomorrow, I have no idea what I would do. I just wouldn't go on. But in the beginning, I was scared to death. I really was. I was scared to death. Usually, the staff members would look out for you. You would feel relatively safe.
For others, it's a matter of issues like PTSD, issues like schizophrenia. They don't feel comfortable in the shelter because they're not comfortable around crowds. They do have mental illnesses, and so often it's simply that they don't know what to expect in the shelter. They don't know what to expect of themselves, and they feel more comfortable not being around the crowds within the shelters.
There's also an element that comes around homeless shelters that can prey on the homeless. I've talked to some guys that have been at several different missions, and there's a certain mission in Kansas City. They said that there are when they leave the mission in the morning, everybody knows that they're coming out of the mission, and they've been jumped or robbed or beaten up.
The other reason that some don't come into the shelters is simply because they don't want to obey a series of rules.
If you stayed overnight in the shelter, you'd wake up about 5:30 or 6 o'clock. No matter rain, snow, or cold, or what, you've got to get up. You've got to shower, put your clothes on, and hit the road. Usually the guys that are down there that do it all the time, daily, we have like a little thing called the tramp trail. It's one institution to another that some offer breakfast, some offer you can get in from the warmth, get into the warmth on a cold day, and you would go to another one for church service and for lunch, and then another place during the day, the library, or hang out, and then back down to the mission again where you're going to spend the night at. Oh yeah, the homeless and public libraries. You go in the restroom and you see a guy in there, he's taking a bath and he's shaving, and I'm like, how disgusting. There's no place else for him to do that.
Probably more than any other public institution, except maybe the city itself, we serve everybody, and we're for everybody. And so we cherish that as a key principle of the library.
And I used to laugh at myself. I said, well, I'm the only homeless man I know that carries around a whole library with him, because I'd have several books in my little suitcase.
They use the library a lot, and the shelters, we have a strong relationship with the library, so we work with them. They come here, we go there, we take services to the shelters.
It's helpful for people that are homeless, but a lot of people abuse it. You know, they go in there and they sleep, or they go in there and they talk loud, or they go in there and disturb other people, or they destroy the reading material and things like that. And that's, you know, so it's, you know, it goes both ways, you know, it goes both ways.
And so that is a challenge to the library. We want to serve everybody, but some of the populations we serve make it harder for us to serve other parts of our population. So we have rules in place that can restrict someone from being in the library. We do exclude people who have obnoxious or violent or harassing behavior from the library.
Been out on the street, no job, nowhere to go, 2 or 3 days, you know, a bit ripe, hair all over my face, you know, treat you like you're infection, you know, get away.
If I see a homeless person, I always look at them and acknowledge them. And I try and show them kindness and compassion.
So one of the library's jobs is to let our other patrons know that the homeless are, in a lot of cases, are people just like us who've met some bad luck.
You can make a difference in the life of a homeless person just by recognizing their humanity and giving them that dignity.
The Kansas City Rescue Mission, and they have an overnight shelter, and they also have a program, long-term program for guys. It's like 6 months or whatever. When I was an overnighter, I saw the guys that were in the program. In my opinion, they were wimps or wussies or whatever, and they weren't out there sleeping on the sidewalk every night. And I went into the program, and I learned that I do have a future. I do matter, that I am worth something. I'm just not garbage. I'm not something that needs to be cast off, and I have hope because I know things will be better.
Getting rid of homelessness is going to take a lot more than just putting them in a house. Prevention is the best cure. Refer them to one of the many agencies in Kansas City that really do know how to help. And that would be Kansas City Rescue Mission, City Union Mission, Salvation Army, Restart, and many more places that really know how to get to the root of the problem.
For people that are homeless, there's help out there. But first of all, you need to help yourself. You need to want to be motivated, do everything, be independent, do everything that you can do for yourself. I'm pursuing my education now. I've got a spiritual base. Where do I want to be in 5 years? I want to be at work. I want to be at work. I want to be in a courthouse on the other side, not in front of the judge. I want to be behind the judge. Yeah.
What would you do if you didn't have a home? Oh, yeah.